Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And I'm back from Tank Fest and ready for duty. And in my subscription feed was something really interesting that I had no idea about. WOT Express is presenting this as World of Tanks 2.0. Although in reality, it's just another Tanks game that is created by Wargaming. And in a short 20-second video that's available on a secret project's test page called Project CW. So as this video is only 20 seconds, let's just watch the entirety of it, and then I will pause it as we go through to try and break down what we see. So, initially, people, that's something you don't really see much in like a 3D environment inside World of Tanks. There's modern vehicles, there's funky skins, looks like there's customization, a whole variety of tier 10s and actual gameplay of this Project CW. Secret Tank Wars. Okay, so that was too fast, frankly. So before we break it down, let's try and find out a little bit more about this. And Armored Patrol published an article highlighting where this video has come from. And that is, there's a dedicated webpage for the CW project where you can apply to join the heroes. However, this looks like a friends and family splash page for joining the project, and it's currently not accepting invitations. Interestingly enough, though, there is a public Facebook page of this with 128 likes. So the first thing that I wanted to check is this actually a wargaming game? And interestingly enough, if you look at the cookies policy on the CW project website, you can find in the legal documentation that it actually links you to Wargaming's generic privacy policies. This is indeed a wargaming title. So now let's watch the video again, but we can try and break it down. So it's really interesting to have fully 3D imagined people. Inside World of Tanks, it's only 2D. You don't ever really feel that there are actually people connected inside the tanks. So maybe Wargaming are realizing that kind of like lack of visceral nature of the connectedness of the people and the vehicles kind of detracts from World of Tanks. But it does allow the game to be able to get like a PEGI 12 rating. So, all right, so playtest, yes, great. Okay, so gosh, it just goes so fast with little snippets. So that's clearly a Soviet vehicle. It doesn't look quite historical with the plow on front of the tank. Next, we have what looks like an Abrams. And clearly with the lighting, this looks like this is not the generic World of Tanks engine. So they're going to be using something else entirely. Looks like we've got customization on the vehicles, definitely very bright. Definitely very funky. This is not a historical title. Here we have a German Leopard. We could even see with the number plate on the back, machine guns, AKs, lots of big turbos there on the back of the engine. Will this be customizable? A little bit funky. Maybe it's just cosmetic purposes. And here we can see the variety of vehicles. We've got ourselves the Leopard. What looks to be more of a British tank there, possibly a Challenger. We've got the Abrams on the right, Soviet at the front, and then an American, what looks to be one of the later M models. With all of the designs being very big, bold, and funky. Clearly, Wargaming are either figuring out or have an idea from their audience that not everybody wants to play a historical tank game. Sometimes they want to have it big, bold, and very Call of Duty. This continues in a second with the gameplay, and this is where things get really exciting. So we have modern ammunition here, APF, SDS, the amount of rounds. We have a mini-map that's very small in a different part of the screen. Looks like we have control zones, very battlefield, objective-based. And it looks like at this part that maybe the player was actually calling in an airstrike, or maybe some kind of helicopter attack. In this one, we can see, I'm not sure if maybe this is some chaffs for some rocket defense. And one thing that's interesting is if you look on the other side of the screen, you can see that the characters are big, bold, and they're actually on your screen. Whereas it feels as if in World of Tanks, you very much leave your crew inside the garage. And this is an Apocalypse M60 IFP attack tank. It also looks like, if we look towards the center here, that there are two different kinds of ammunition that you're going to have available. So does that mean that we're going to have gold rounds inside this game as well? Anytime Wargaming have got an opportunity to make a new title, I always hope that they'll just do away completely with the pay-to-win elements of the game and just try and make the money purely from cosmetics and from a battle pass. So this next part confirms that this is a T-62 from 1975. And what's interesting about this screen is I think that we could actually see the icons for calling in the attack run or the attack helicopter in 90 seconds. And also, if I move myself once again, if we look over into the right-hand corner of the screen, it does look like there's a missile option with this tank. Here we can see a rocket barrage very briefly shown. Oh my word, I'm just going to have to pause it. And currently with the way that Wargaming have got it set up is unless somebody's trolling and calling themselves a bot, it looks like they do have AI in this game as well as having module destroyed bonus points that we can see in the center of the screen. So it looks like there is going to be a working module system inside this game as well. And then we've got a pause here, and it looks like, whoa, there's more ramming in what is literally about half a second of gameplay. But we can see the Leopard 1 A6 Jaeger there. And again, at the top of your screen, what looks like 5 different control points that the teams have to fight it out for in a very battlefield setting. And so there you have it, the CW project, Secret Tank Wars. I'm sure the name is going to change, and it looks like it's far too early days to really have a proper good look at this. But considering that Wargaming have a splash page and they have a public video on the matter, it's definitely looking like one to keep an eye out for. So clearly, this isn't going to be World of Tanks 2.0. And I think that Wargaming are not stupid enough to release a tank game that they think is going to compete with their key audience. Either they want their players to be playing both of these titles, or this is to try and capture the attention for those players who think World of Tanks is too boring and too slow, and they want something frenetic and more like Call of Duty or Battlefield. And if that's the vibe they're definitely going for, they seem to be hitting it with the small video presentation that they've made. Interestingly enough, this isn't the only project that the Armored Patrol brings to my attention, and that is also that they've linked through to something called Steel Hunters, which has a fully functional website that you can go and check out to be able to find out a little bit more about the game. And again, if you look at the privacy policy for Steel Hunters, then you can see that it will be at least developed or published by Wargaming, as inside the privacy policy, there is a privacy at wargaming.net. But this game is nothing like World of Tanks. It's a mech title, and it looks like you can actually apply to be able to get into the closed alpha for Steel Hunters. So if you're actually interested in this one, then feel free. And what we can find out about this game is it's a tactical third-person PvP shooter set in a dystopian future where the Earth has become uninhabitable. You must master hunters, giant killing machines of the future, to fulfill your quest for survival, honor, and the dangerous riches of the Starfall that rule is at the 22nd century. So I guess it's going to be set 100 years in the future. And interestingly enough, we can actually find a video of it. So we've got X key switches our views, X and mouse to be able to look around. We can left mouse to fire. We can right mouse to zoom in. We can press our V key to kick our opponents. F key looks like it fires a grenade out. R to reload. And then T key, I don't quite know what this is doing. Is this some kind of like magazine reloading? Maybe it's your overall ammunition. Yeah, it looks like it's refilling your ammo. So yeah, typical kind of mech combat game. Interestingly enough, in the social section, it's Mr. Conway, who I know works at Wargaming, but I'm not sure if they're working on World of Warships anymore. Maybe they're just involved in this test as well. Typical tactical map, battle interface. What can we find out here? Looks like you can level up with energy shells and then be able to unlock more things and be able to get shields for your mech as well. This is crazy that all of this has just been public, and I had no idea about it. Shows you Wargaming are definitely working on a lot of other projects. Anyway, if you want to find out more about this game, I'd definitely recommend going and taking a look. And it shows you that Wargaming are not just working on World of Tanks. And it's always been interesting to see where Wargaming are going to take all of that money that they make from World of Tanks and also from World of Warships now and kind of invest it. They've made some very dubious decisions with, for example, publishing, Arena Total War, which was an ill-fated Total War game that definitely didn't do so well and had the plug pulled. They made a World of Tanks card game that didn't do so well. And they also got an online RPG game, Pagan Online, which I think only lasted for about a year before the servers were shut down, as it just didn't really have enough people. But I believe that was just published by Wargaming. So over the last few years, we've seen that Wargaming have actually really slowed down the amount of games that they're publishing. Maybe they thought that they could just rush out some real C-grade games, and that because they had such a big audience that it would work. And maybe they're now doubling down on trying to produce more kind of like your A titles or your AAA titles, because they realize that just because they've got a big audience, that their big audience isn't going to be able to prop up all of their other titles. And they're going to have to just invest into producing bigger, better games that then will breach not only their community, but also outside of, should we say, the Wargaming community. So it looks like it's a good news if you are a fan of tank games with the possible CW project on the horizon, or if you're just a big Wargaming fan and there's more games coming out for you. From my perspective, I'm always rooting for Wargaming to do well, because when they do, I guess it will be less kind of like milking the game that and I guess you play as well, World of Tanks, and then spending that money and developing ill-fated titles. I guess we can see why Wargaming are now doing loot crates every 3 months and not just once a year. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was a look at a possible World of Tanks 2.0 and also a possible Wargaming mech game. Big thank you to the Armored Patrol for amalgamating a lot of the sources, and also WOT Express for making the video available on YouTube, not just on Facebook. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video today, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down, and let me know in the comments down below what you think about Project CW or the CW project, and also about Steel Hunters. Does this look like the kind of game that you would want to play? Or do you think that Wargaming are just trying to make more games that look like other games but putting their own edge on them? And if you're watching this video as it's released on Monday, I'm going live all day, being back from Tankfest, and I got brand new drops to be able to get you tokens to get your styles and 5x experience and premium days and all of that. So come along, say hi, and get some sweet loot along the way. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.